On October 20th, 2025, former President Donald Trump addressed the nation's top military leaders with a radical proposal to wage a war from within. He called for the military to confront what he described as dangerous American cities, specifically those led by his political opponents. Trump argued that the military's traditional role must expand to restore order on American streets, using force if necessary. He suggested cities like New York, Chicago, and San Francisco could become training grounds for the National Guard, referencing his past deployment of federal agents to Portland as a model. This marks a profound shift, turning American cities into zones for domestic military exercises and positioning soldiers against what he labeled the enemy within. Trump recounted a tense call with Oregon's governor, claiming local leaders are incapable of managing crises, making federal intervention essential. By framing local unrest as a failure of governance, he justified normalizing military deployments for civil disturbances, traditionally the realm of police, not soldiers. This proposal challenges the long-standing separation of military and civilian authority, raising fundamental questions about the military's role in a democracy. The idea of using armed forces to police American cities sets the stage for conflict, not just in the streets, but between the executive branch and military leadership. The implications are far-reaching, touching the core of American governance and civil liberties. Trump's call signals a new era, one where the military's mission could be redefined from defending the nation to policing its own people. Standing with Trump, former Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced a plan to rename the Department of Defense as the Department of War. This isn't just a name change, it signals a return to a singular focus: warfighting. Hegseth declared the military must abandon peacekeeping and humanitarian missions, concentrating solely on preparing for and winning battles, foreign or domestic. The rebranding aims to cultivate a more aggressive, combat-focused institution, sidelining diplomacy and support roles. This aligns with Trump's vision of the military as a blunt instrument for confronting threats, wherever they arise. By defining internal unrest as war, the administration creates a framework to justify deploying troops in American cities. This shift would fundamentally alter the relationship between the military and the public, blurring the line between soldier and law enforcement. The Department of Defense was named in 1949 to reflect a broader mission. Reverting to war is a powerful, symbolic move. It suggests a future where the military's main interaction with the world and its own citizens is through conflict. Combat readiness becomes the top priority, reshaping the purpose and public perception of the armed forces. The message is clear. The era of the Department of War may be returning, with all the consequences that entails. Hegseth outlined sweeping reforms to reshape military culture, targeting what he called woke culture for weakening the armed forces. He announced stricter physical fitness standards for all ranks, emphasizing readiness, discipline, and toughness. New grooming rules would ban beards and long hair, even for top generals, reinforcing uniformity and discipline. These changes aim to steer the military away from social debates and back to a traditional, combat-oriented mindset. Hegseth also ordered a review of toxic leadership policies, arguing the term is overused and undermines commanders' authority. The focus: effective leadership, mission-first priorities, and eliminating distractions from the warrior ethos. Together, these reforms represent a top-to-bottom cultural overhaul, reversing recent trends toward inclusivity and diversity. The goal is a force that looks, thinks, and acts as a single, cohesive fighting unit. Hegseth's plan challenges the modernizing direction of the military, prioritizing tradition and combat above all else. The message: the military's future lies in discipline, uniformity, and a singular focus on warfighting. Trump defended his foreign policy record, portraying himself as a global peacemaker who avoided new wars and brought troops home. He contrasted this with what he called the urgent need for military force to address domestic problems. By highlighting his restraint abroad, Trump sought to build credibility with military leaders, framing his domestic agenda as part of a broader security strategy. He argued that unrest in American cities is as grave a threat as any foreign adversary, requiring a robust military response. Trump's message: The military must see American streets as another battlefield in the nation's defense. This dual narrative, peace abroad, force at home, asks the military to embrace a role far beyond its traditional purpose. Soldiers are trained to fight foreign enemies, not police fellow citizens, yet Trump sought to redefine domestic dissent as a national security threat. The speech aimed to bridge the gap, making military intervention at home seem as necessary as defending against foreign threats. Trump's argument, keeping America safe now, means confronting threats both overseas and within its own borders. The result is a complex, controversial vision for the military's future role in American society. As Trump spoke, the response from nearly 800 top military leaders was strikingly subdued. The usual applause and enthusiasm were absent, replaced by a heavy, uncomfortable silence. Trump tried to lighten the mood with jokes, but the tension remained. Sparse, hesitant applause revealed deep discomfort with the idea of deploying troops against American citizens. The general's quiet was not disrespect. It was a powerful, unspoken statement of reservation. In the disciplined world of the military, silence can be as loud as protest. The lack of affirmation signaled significant doubts about the administration's vision for the military's domestic role. The moment exposed a deep rift between political leadership and the uniformed command. The future of American civil-military relations now hung in the balance. The general's reaction was a clear warning. Not all would follow the path being laid out. Gathering nearly 800 senior military leaders in one room at Quantico was a major security risk. Such an assembly created a vulnerability. An attack could decapitate the military's leadership in a single blow. Operationally, having so many key leaders away from their posts disrupted the military's constant cycle of readiness. The event's unprecedented nature carried risks far beyond politics, highlighting the tension and uncertainty surrounding the meeting. Breaking from security protocols suggested political messaging was prioritized over best practices. The administration was willing to accept these risks to deliver its message directly to military leadership. This was no routine briefing. It was a high-stakes confrontation, forcing a choice upon America's top commanders. The unusual Quantico meeting immediately sparked rumors of a looming purge of military leadership. Speculation grew that Trump and Hegseth planned to fire top generals deemed insufficiently loyal. Hegseth's past calls for reducing high-ranking officers and criticizing current leadership fueled these fears. The administration's push for a war-fighting ethos signaled a search for leaders aligned with their vision. The tense atmosphere and general's silent response only heightened anxiety about potential mass firings. For many officers, the meeting was about more than policy. It was about their own futures and the institution's fate. A large-scale removal of senior leaders for political reasons would be unprecedented, risking the military's nonpartisan tradition. The whispers of a purge turned the meeting into a moment of profound uncertainty for the military and the nation.